Hello everybody. Let's speak about Ascension, the lifting of the wheels by Drunvalo Melchizedek. Jesus definitely taught that Ascension or resurrection, which is a close cousin to it, were associated with death. It was not until he died on the cross in great pain that he was allowed, or he allowed himself, to enter into heaven. But this final state of consciousness that Jesus obtained on the cross was preceded by many years of directly experiencing the relationship of the inner and outer worlds. It was through his understanding of the worlds of pure consciousness and their relationship to the outer physical world of the stars and planets that Jesus was able to perform miracle after miracle. For he realized that they were both worlds of consciousness, and he knew the connection between them. Each miracle led Jesus closer to the source of life, and closer to the day when he could choose to ascend. But we can ask whether it's true that his ascension happened after his death on the cross. Could it not also be true that Jesus ascended at the age of 12, when he performed his first miracle? The concept of ascension as resurrection after death or entry into heaven is a Christian concept, and it is the normal definition in today's human world. But life doesn't always play by human rules. In fact, it seems obvious that life tries out all possibilities. So it is possible that new rules are being formed here on Earth, driven by the unusual state of human consciousness at this moment in history. And it is my observation that this possibility is happening now, that the rules are constantly changing. As a result, I believe that where humanity is going and why are issues that truly lie beyond our human imagination at this time. And how are we going to get wherever we are going? That's probably a question that would strain our imagination even more. Although Jesus ascended by dying, in other words, that does not mean we are going to ascend by the same method. Life just might have another plan. Why do I think this? Because I have been watching life on Earth very closely. And even in the short time since 1998, there have been changes that I find extremely difficult to define. The prophecies that were supposed to occur never did. Some just never happened. Each earth-shaking event that was prophesied approached its predicted time. And somehow morphed into something that was gentle and went almost unnoticed. The uncertainty and potential surprise in store for us makes me think of the river that flows around UT Mountain in Colorado. It's the Rio Grande, and it skirts the western base of this mountain. But science has discovered that every 100 years or so, this river changes course and flows around the eastern side of the UT Mountain. If, without offering scientific proof, we were to suggest to people who have lived their whole life on this mountain that perhaps the river is going to change its course someday, they would truly think we were crazy. It would be outside of their understanding. But I am convinced that Mother Earth is getting ready to try something equally new with our ascension process, or at least something that has not been used very often. In fact, I think it's already begun. It seems to me that Mother Earth shifted us into the first dimension on time in 1998, but then reconstructed the normal outer reality as though nothing had happened. It would be as though the river had actually changed course, but the people who lived along it were still seeing it where it used to be. This is the only explanation I can find that covers all of the experiences I am having and my observations of the outer reality. In other words, I think we may have already ascended. This would certainly explain the feats of the new super psychic children who are emerging around the world. Their actions and abilities are absolutely not of three-dimensional reality. Walking through solid walls is not something that can happen in the third dimension. And feats like this, and many more, have been reported in science journals by the Chinese government and others. And this is but a small part of what is being observed today. So there's already something going on here on Earth that is extraordinary, totally outside of what we think of as normal. And yet, if we choose to ignore it, we can go along and everything looks exactly the same as it's always been. The Maya, the Hopi, and many others have recently predicted that this period of time we are in now, between August 15 and December 15, 2003, would witness enormous change in the world. The implication was that there would be physical earth changes of huge proportions, quakes and floods and other natural disasters that would devastate planetary civilization. But I've been watching carefully, observing this period of time with my inner being. And although I am witnessing everything happening exactly as predicted, the changes are not in fact appearing in the outer world. At least, not yet. They are appearing in our inner worlds. Major changes inside of us are transforming us into something new and different. And I believe that this month, on December 15th, all of us will enter a new world. And although it will be the world normally associated with Ascension, I think it's going to seem normal and familiar. It will have the familiar face of the old third dimension, but with a brand new heart. And when we look back, despite how normal it seemed at the time, I think we will realize how many great changes have taken place in such a short time. For this, I feel great excitement and hope. I would say to you, get ready for 2004. If you can see your experience next year with the single eye of Ascension, it just may prove to be the most amazing year you have ever experienced on Earth. As the old you falls away, open your arms and your heart to who you really are, a grand, divine being with amazing abilities to create. You are the son or daughter of the one who created everything, and this will never change. Sometimes we forget, but eventually we always remember once again. Eventually, the veil is always lifted in love and service. Drunvalo.